ATPA Winter Nationals. Sit back, you're going to see the biggest stars that you've seen all year in 2000 launch off the 2001 pulling season right here on the ATPA Jasper Engine Series on ESPN2.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. While you get up here and join me in the booth, we'll get things started out with Hot Damn. This is Nancy Howard, who did very well on that pulling series last year. Look at her now, wheels in the air as she begins that pull down the 300-foot course here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. She'll set the mark to beat at 258.70 feet.
Nancy Howard was the 1999 Jasper Engines East Coast champion. She is a tough competitor. Let's go trackside and talk with her.
What do you think about going first? Any reservations about that?
Oh, yes, a ton of reservations. First hook in the first class is really tough.
How was the track?
It was nice. It was really firm, held the position, and we enjoyed the track. It was good. Do you want to say?
We'll see if it holds.
I hope so. Thanks.
All right, and our next puller coming up right now, this is Bob Jostock. He has a tractor with 4 big block Chevrolet Supercharged.
Joe Stock is a tough competitor. He has got to beat the distance set of 258.70. No surprise. 276.32 takes over the lead. He was out here actually yesterday, Ted, testing new tires for Firestone. It's going to be interesting to see how all that comes out as we check out our man from Iowa, Jeff Paulson, getting on the left-hand side of the track.
He cannot hit the mark. Now, Claude Wood found a guy that has a different setup on his tractor. Let's find out more.
The super modified class in the ATPA truck and tractor pulling could be called one of the most exciting classes out there. It's a little bit open, a little bit limited. You can have 4 engines, and we've seen all kinds of configurations, usually 4 V8s. But on this particular tractor, we see 3, 4, 5, 6-cylinder. What is that all about?
We want to get all the power we can, so we're going to try this and see if it'll make more power than 2 blown Chevys.
Is it what actually gets the tractor underway once you give it the throttle?
Yes, this one will actually get the tractor rolling, and the Chevys will come in after we get taken off.
I don't think I've seen this configuration very many places. Where did you get the idea?
Oh, the idea came from another puller and a sled guy, and we just talked about trying it, and so here it is.
The blown V8s may be around 1,800 horsepower. The turbocharged 6-cylinder, a whopping 2,600 horsepower, they're guessing. Maybe yes, maybe no, and with so many other things, time will tell. But their hopes are that the Texas machine will really be a bullwhip that cracks tonight.
All right, thank you very much, Claude. Let's just see how well it does work now as Don Nelson comes up with his tractor he calls the Texas Bullwhip. What about it, Tom? The 6-cylinder idea going to work?
It's in the developmental stages now, but it is definitely going to be one of the toughest Lucas Oil Super mods on the series. Keep an eye on it this coming season.
This ESPN2 In the Driver's Seat coverage is being brought to you by Jasper Engines and Transmissions, the nation's leader in remanufactured engines and transmissions, and by Lucas Oil Products, #1 in the trucking industry. Wayne, Indiana, as we continue our coverage of the Duramax Diesel Winter Nationals. Let's check in with Claude Wood, who has this week's Lucas Oil Best Appearing Award.
You know, each season it's getting more and more difficult to pick a Lucas Oil Best Appearing. If you had noticed the Dirt Slinger from last year, you wouldn't have recognized it as the Dirt Slinger. There were no graphics there. So this year, after all of this fancy touch-up work, we only had one question. Does that make it run any better?
Yeah, Photo Joe was making fun of it. The fenders were just aluminum colored. Didn't have any paint on it. We didn't get it done in time to get it painted, so it looked pretty plain. So it's a little different now. I got a good friend, David Anderson, that's in the paint design business, and he designed all the vinyl on it. I picked out the candy red. We're known for the red color, and Dave Anderson really did a nice job.
It looks terrific. Now, does all this pretty nice, spiffy work make it run any better?
Well, hopefully we can keep our act together. We did win the championship last year in 2000 Millennium, and hopefully the paint won't jinx us. And my son polished this fine gearbox. It's made out of aluminum, and we just tried to make it look better. We got it running good, and hopefully we can keep it running good and get it to look good as well.
You know, for a long time, there has been an ongoing controversy surrounding the hemispherical engines and the big block Chevys and the Fords. And you know what? That controversy will continue probably beyond my lifetime. Well, exactly what does that have to do with the best appearing? Absolutely nothing. In fact, well, Bill painted it. It's beautiful.
All right, Clark. We agree with you. Let's take a look right now. Scott Tedder, Mr. Twister, out of Hartford, Indiana. He's one of the local favorites here. That's close by to Four-Way. Begins pulling with his four big Chevrolets, arranged in a very different configuration.
Well, his configuration is working. He just took over the lead. Scott Tedder, 278.48. He just beat this man, Bob Jostock.
He's not very happy about it either.
278.48 gives you the lead. Is that going to be enough?
Certainly hope so, but I doubt it. Front end could have got a little higher. Didn't quite get the whole shot I wanted, so it wasn't the best run I could have made.
Here comes the double dose plus one. Why is it called that? Well, double dose, 2 Chevrolets and a third. Only 3 Chevrolets for Wayne Kreider out of Cherubusco, Indiana. He has a definite disadvantage.
Yes, he does. He's the Jasper Engines champion from the state of Indiana, but he's only running 3 motors, as the rules only allow him to run that, running here with the big boys. But as you can tell, that 4th motor cost him a lot of distance.
Only 250 feet. Now Joe Etter comes up with 4 areas, 520 cubic inches each, the Sorrento Express.
Joe Etter, 2-time Jasper Engines ATPA World Champion. Can he take over the lead? Yes, indeed. No shock there, Ted. 281.56. Let's check it out with the Lucas Oil replay. A picture-perfect run. Feathers the throttle, then nails it. The tractor's hooked. The momentum's going. The Sorrento Express takes over the lead here with the Lucas Oil Supermod class.
281.56 gives you the lead, but after the first couple of 100 feet, you picked up a lot of speed.
Yeah, the chassis is really working good. It did some changes. Got the motors really coming around. I think we're going to start out, hopefully have a good year. Well, this next tractor, boy, he's running good, and he's got a good chance there of really taking the lead, but hopefully we can hang on to it.
And that next tractor is the guy we showed you at the very front of the show, Bill Leishner, the dirt slinger out of Weldon, Illinois. He also is running 4 Arius engines. Take a look. Oh, a good run, Tom.
Oh, one of the motors having a lot of fuel going out, but it is not stopping him, Ted. He takes over the lead, almost a full pull, 296.80.
296.80. I'm going to go out on a limb here. You had every motor fattened up.
Yeah, it was pretty fat. We didn't want to hurt anything. And didn't know whether we'd have enough power. The air's pretty good here, Claude. But, boy, the old A&P Performance motors running through that SPS gearbox give the Tristler a winner.
I was guessing maybe the new paint helped it.
Maybe it did. We got a couple other guys who can still win this thing, but it's nice to be down here in the winner's circle, you know, right now. I don't think I got it won by any means, but sure feels good.
Folks, it's not over yet. We've got more to come from Fort Wayne, Indiana, as we continue our coverage of the Duramax Diesel Winter Nationals, a part of the Jasper Engines and Transmission Pulling Series, sanctioned by the ATPA. And this is Dwayne Bergman, the rambunctious number 2 out of Fort Recovery, Ohio. He doesn't have Chevy V8 in that, Tom.
2 V12 Allison aircraft engines. I love the sound of this thing, but not the sound of that. Dwayne Bergman has trouble, will come up short, 220 and change as we check out Richard Price, the 2000 Jasper Engines ATPA East Coast Series champion. Now on the East Coast, they're only allowed to run 3 motors. He's here running with the big boys, the Lucas Oil Supermods, and Ted, it shows going to be a little under 250 feet.
Well, what'd you expect? Only 3 engines. The poor guy doesn't have a chance, Tom.
Wayne Creech working the brakes, making sure everything is working right. When that front end goes up in the air, that is what will control the tractor as we check it out in tractor camera. The reason for the vibrations, that's 8,000 horsepower. A lot of vibration. Bill Leishner smiles, shakes Joe Etter's hand. He is the winner. Wayne Creech comes up short.
Let's take another look at that pull from outside. Now, you couldn't realize there's all that vibration until we gave you that on-tractor camera view. Look at him fight that with the wheels up in the air. He had a good run going, just couldn't pull quite far enough. Let's check in with our winner right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps you've looked into a crystal ball. My friend, you are picking up where you left off last year.
That's a pretty good feeling. I wasn't jinxed by the paint, and boy, I want to thank ATPA and Jasper Engines for putting this circuit together. They had an excellent track here indoors. This first Nationals here at Fort Wayne. It's really an excellent track, just excellent. Taking power, taking front end weight. And I want to thank all the sponsors, you know, Duramax and K&N coming on board. I think Valco out of Cincinnati.
Okay, two-part question. Over the winter break, did you make any changes? And are you going to make any from now on the rest of this year?
Oh, they put some sanctions. I got to slow my blowers down. They think I'm got a little dominant edge, so we freshened up the motors, changed some gear ratios a little bit. We actually fattened the motors up here because the air was good, and I wanted to change. But basically, everything's the same, except I want to slow the motors down a little.
Congratulations tonight.
Thank you very much.
And we'll take a quick look at exactly how they finished. You'll notice it was very close there. Number 5, Don Nelson at 270 feet, and here's all the way down to 10th place. Now, meanwhile, they had to make special provisions for an indoor pool. What in the world is that gadget? Well, that's what everybody wanted to know, so Logwood found out.
For any indoor event, especially if it's motorized competition, especially if it's truck and tractors, and more especially if it's diesel tractors, immediately you have an air quality situation. Now, I'm told that here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, EPA officials will be here sporadically monitoring the air quality. And to make sure that it is of a certain level, they have made some changes to these tractors. All diesel tractors will have this external pipe that comes directly out of their pipe or pipes feeding all the way back to the huge black hose. Now, that black hose runs 400 feet down the track and is hooked up to a 600 horsepower generator that will clean or suck these diesel fumes out of this building. And it is pretty efficient. You know, I wondered, would it be 96%, 97, 98% effective? They assured me it would be 100% effective. And you know, that is pretty much a perfect situation. But I had an idea this morning that maybe would help in purifying the air. What I thought was, if every tractor puller would take one of these nifty air purifiers and hang on his steering wheel, that would clear the air quality. And I think it would work. I love the smell of pine trees in the morning. Well, they didn't approve it, but I think Ewell Gibbons would. Back to you guys.
No, Claude, no, I don't think that'll work. We'll have those Superstock diesels when we return to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Stay with us, please. Diesel Winter Nationals. Oh, the crowd loves it here. You know why? They can breathe. They have that great exhaust system going as we go to the heavyweight Superstock tractors. The nice trouble of Kenny Hale from Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Kenny Hale, 1999 Jasper engines, 1996 Jasper engines, ATPA Diesel Superstock champion. He sets the mark to beat here, 294.18.
Well, let's find out if he's going to keep that mark as they pull the exhaust system back in place.
294.18. It ran pretty much like you thought, huh?
Oh, yeah, mate. I thought it made a real good hook. Good hook. I'm satisfied.
Track okay?
Yeah, good track. Real good track.
We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah. There's still a lot of stuff out there.
So that means he will keep that one. Chuck Lee from Macon, Missouri, with the high step, and will give it a shot. International Harvester tractor, by the way, if you're keeping score.
Chuck Lee was the Jasper Engines champion from the Tractor Pullers of the Midwest. He's here representing them here at this very special event at the Duramax Diesel Winter National. He will come up short, 276.86. Kenny Hale just dodged a bullet.
Here's a guy from the New York Tractor Pullers Association. This is Bert Stannard from Valley Falls, New York. Another international tractor painted with a lot of black paint. You don't see that too often.
A couple of years back, this tractor won the shootout at the Buck up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Very tough tractor, has to get on the brake, almost touches the boundary line. If he hadn't got on that side pin, I think it would have been a different story. Bert will come up short.
And out of the state of Missouri, the Tractor Pullers of Missouri Association Chef Jacob Smyer will take his Iron Will down the 300-foot course.
He was number 2 in TPM points this year, and check out the smoke. That's why we have the smoke machine, to take most of that smoke outside.
Let's check in with Claude Wood, who has our Best Engineered Award for this week.
Well, this week's Jasper Engines and Transmissions Best Engineered, we take a look at the special presented by Hans Boxler out of New York. Now, what's going on here? We have a whole lot of the old mixed in with quite a bit of the new. In fact, He is even using computer technology to gain information on what his tractor is doing, something you wouldn't have heard of 2 years ago or even maybe 1 year ago. And all of that is for one very special reason.
We've decided to advance ourselves, and our goal here is to try to get these diesel engines to run with the alcohol tractors. And we decided to work with Ernie Connor, the Connor brothers, Ernie and Brian Connor, the people that have got pretty much some of the pioneers in the alcohol tractor division, to work with us, and that's what we've done. We're developing a diesel engine to eventually, hopefully, run right with them and maybe someday beat the alcohol tractors.
You're using no water in this engine configuration. Do you feel that's going to be a key?
Well, we feel it's a key at this point. The water jacket in the block and in the head, we're utilizing that place for more cubic inch, bigger cylinders to take up the space, to make things a little heavier so the block won't fall apart, and likewise in the head.
You know what, the Special Hans is really doing something extra. He is really pushing the envelope. I mean, take a look right here. 4-link suspension on a tractor, on a diesel tractor, something he's borrowed from drag racing. Computers, will it all work? No one knows right now. But at least he's out there trying, and that is one reason this is our best engineered.
Good idea, Claude Wood. We'll have more of those diesel tractors. We continue from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Stay tuned, please. Brought to you by Duramax Diesel, most powerful diesel engines available in a heavy-duty pickup. And by K&N Filters, the best for your engine and the environment. As we continue on with our heavyweight Superstock division, here is Henry Everman from Dansville, New York. The final decision, a white tractor. What's up with that?
Well, it's still an international, and if you want to know why we have a smoke machine indoors, check out the final decision. The crowd goes nuts. They love the diesel smoke.
Boy, it blew the smokestacks right off of that, and the fancy exhaust system they came up here with. We've got to have another look at that with our Lucas Oil Instant Replay. Going fine, and all of a sudden when he reared the front end up, well, the stack stayed up when the tractor came down. So we'll move along as everything turns green right now. The Hawk, Robert Galloway, it's a John Deere fan.
This class has been dominated by International Harvesters, one of the toughest John Deeres you'll find anywhere. Robert Galloway having to get on the brakes. Can he pass Ken Hale? No, he cannot. 282.30 as we check out one of the toughest tractors in the sport of pulling. Tom Dickerson, representing the Empire State Pullers in western New York. He is on a killer run. This is one of the strongest diesels you'll find anywhere. Ted, we get our first full pull of the evening.
I thought he was going all the way to Indianapolis. 303.03 feet, and the crowd is on their feet.
All right, 20-mule team. How many pulled at that time?
21. That was a pretty good pass. There's more bite out there than you think. You turn them hard, it takes front end weight. And I thought I was going to be a little heavy, but I was a little light. I needed more weight in the front. But I'm not complaining. It was a good pass.
Did you let off a little at the end? Looked like you might have had a little more to go.
Yeah, it's getting a little close to that right side, and it's a little too close for comfort because, you know, the rules are the rules. You got to stay in between the white lines, and I was awful close. So I was kind of playing with the brakes and the throttle, saying, well, stay with it, back out of it. You kind of come around and hooked on me to the left and stayed in bounds. I stayed with it, so I was thinking about it.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Well, there'll be a pull-off. There'll be another tractor in the game.
And maybe it'll be a John Deere. Here's Josh Martin from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. The dairy deer. Don't tell me. It's got to be a dairy farmer.
No doubt about it. In fact, they also campaign a Prostock tractor. One of my favorite-looking tractors, I think, out there. Look at him, holding onto the brake, just what Tommy Dickerson was talking about, on his way to a good run, but the track is pulling him over to that right-hand side, and they have to get on the brake, kills the momentum, and the green is done.
Hands Boxler now from Perrysburg, New York, representing the Empire State Pullers with the one he calls the Special. Remember, our best engineered tractor? Well, here he goes. Oh, something broke, Tom.
Oh, Ted, there's parts flying out from underneath that. Let's check it out again with the Lucas Oil replay. Up in the air, he likes to ride this tractor high, transfers all the way to the rear, and something goes kaboom on the inside. Claude's with our winner.
Well, it looks like you had it figured out right.
Well, I play this game all summer long. There's a bunch of us that run a circuit around us during the summer, and we do this pretty much for a living. And you come out here, and it's just another extension of what we do. And, you know, sometimes it's your day and sometimes it's not. Tonight, it was a good track. It favored me and my combination, the power, the tire speed, what I'm running for everything. It seemed to work good.